As the trio sail on, Nami brings up how unprepared they are for a voyage to the Grand Line. She finds a nearby island on the map and suggests they stop there to stock up on supplies and maybe get a new ship. Meanwhile, on that very island, a young, long-nosed man runs around his village warning of a pirate attack. However, it's just another one of his pranks, and this instigates the villagers who chase after him. The young man, Usopp, meets up with his crew of wannabe pirates later that day. However, one of them runs towards the group frantically, warning about the approaching pirates. Usopp, being a massive coward, tries to flee, but his crew calls him out, reminding him that if he truly wants to be a real pirate, he can't just run away at the first sign of danger. He's still pretty scared, but when Onion mentions that he only saw 3 people, Usopp is filled with confidence and sets out to challenge the invaders. With that, they head to the coast to confront Luffy and his crew. He sets up a bunch of flags and makes it seem he has a bunch of men on his side, but Nami sees through the ruse and this scares off his crewmates. Usopp refuses to be intimidated and challenges Luffy with his slingshot, but when Luffy and Zoro call his bluff, he relents. Luffy laughs and then shocks Usopp by mentioning he knows his father, Yasopp. Usopp immediately takes them into his home and gives them food. Luffy tells him he knew his father, Yasopp, from Shanks' crew and shares how Yasopp always talked about his son. Usopp lights up with pride and expresses how proud he is of his father. Nami asks if he knows anyone in the town who could sail or had a large ship for sale, but Usopp tries to dissuade them by saying the village is too small for that. Zoro then mentions the mansion on the hill, and Nami cuts in, asking if that person could help them get a ship. Usopp then tells them not to go there, and then asks them to stay as long as they want before quickly scurrying off. Meanwhile, at that very mansion, a young girl named Kaya pleads with her butler and guardian, Klahadore, to let her see Usopp. He firmly refuses, insisting that Usopp's lies are a threat to her health. He reminds her of the promise he made to her late parents to keep her safe, and then leaves the room. Usopp then sneaks into the property, much to Kaya's delight. He entertains her with a made-up tale of his battle with a giant goldfish at the South Pole when he was just 5 years old. Meanwhile, the Usopp pirates approach the trio. They ask where their captain is, and Zoro says they ate him, scaring the little kids shitless. They then take them to the mansion and explain that Usopp goes there to tell made-up stories to the girl who lives there, who had been going through a depression after her parents died. Luffy decides to speak to Kaya and ends up catapulting everyone into the property. Just as they begin explaining themselves to Kaya, Klahadore arrives and confronts them for trespassing.